London hospital. It's to continue treating an infection as well as for tests on a pre-existing heart condition. He was admitted just under 2 weeks ago.
Big story out of Spain. Police have raided Barcelona Football Club. Arrests have been made, including a former club president.
Staying with football, a big shock in China. Super League winning side Jiangsu have collapsed.
Finally, a rather crazy story out of Sudan. A plane was forced to return to Khartoum after an angry cat got into the cockpit and started attacking the pilot. Meow!
Local media says all attempts to calm the feline hijacker failed.
1329G. Meow.
BBC Minute.
Quick, Charger 240.
Hot news, vibes, sports, and more on the Integrity Station. Splash FM 105.5.
All right, it's the first day in the month of March 2021, and it's Talking Points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. My name is Michael Olatunbosun. I welcome you to the program as always. So you know the deal. It's about getting us to talk about the things that affect us as a people. And here we are again today, and it's time to engage. So quite a number of things, unraveled, if you like, or happened across the nation. On Friday, we were told that some girls were abducted, and then over the weekend, some of those who were abducted were, had escaped. Some who did not escape were released, and you have this thing recurring. One of my own big questions about the abductions, what you like to call the industry of abductions in Nigeria, is that it seems like we're all okay with the fact that children can be abducted from their schools, and then after some days of negotiations back and forth and the rest of it, we hear that they are released. And the question of release is also a question that we need to ask. Released or ransom paid? What exactly is the real situation in this matter? So that's one big question that I thought I'd like to play around with on the program today. Talking Points on Splash FM. Okay, so while you are thinking about that question, I'd like to also pose another question to you. Why has it been very difficult for leaders in Africa to really get Africa running in terms of innovation, science and technology, or maybe if you put all these elements together and call it development? I mean, catching up with the rest of the world in 2021 to get us going. Even the United Arab Emirates have gone, into space. You have space exploration across the world. And Africa seems to, Africa is lagging behind. Why is it that we're still in what I had a conversation with Mr. Lamumuda Ayeni last week. I also featured him on Book Splash over the weekend. The book, Power, Politics, and People's Welfare, the Magnetron Technology. That book was published this year. It's going to be launched pretty soon. And he was talking, he wrote in that book that we are still in what he called the primitive, what he called primitivity. We're in this space age advancement. We're still talking grazing routes in Nigeria, for instance. We're still debating whether we should have trains, metro lines. We're still, fighting over roads and potholes. And the question is, when are we going to be doing the extraordinary? Or is it not important to ask that question? So I will bring part of that conversation to the microphone this afternoon. I'll let you just have a feel of what he thinks, or maybe I should just tell you a bit of what he said here. He said that the typical African is self-centered and not service-oriented in thought. Okay, so if you look around the world, billions of dollars or billions of pounds of investment in Europe, and particularly in Dubai and the United Kingdom, where leaders or politically exposed people have, really carted away funds from this country and taking them to Switzerland, to United Kingdom, to America, and some other places in the world. Why is it that the typical person in Africa thinks that I need just to amass, and consume, and that's okay? He also said that the African person, the leader, particularly in Africa, or the typical African man or person, does not want to invest in anything that does not bring immediate profit. So you see, isn't it important to ask the question of why we're not investing for the long term? I remember I had a conversation with Michael Olatunbosun some time ago, and he said that, you see, long-term investment is not very good for people who are pursuing political clout. Okay, so you want people to vote for you in 2023, and what you just do basically is to invest in what will bring the votes in 2023. So do something cosmetic, do something very immediate, so that people can look at that thing and vote for you, rather than do something for the next generation. I remember that over and over again, we've been having conversations about buildings like Cocoa House. Look at the UCH. Look at that building, the awesomeness of that building. After UCH was put up, after Cocoa House was built, which other one have we been able to do in this part of the world, particularly in the southwest of Nigeria, or maybe I should say specifically in Oyo State? We are just doing what you call tokenism. Just do something, buy uniforms for school children, and that's all. Even if their schools are leaking, the roofs are leaking, what you just do is you print some textbooks or exercise books, put your name on it, and then give them out. Call the media, take photographs, put them on social media. On election day, you tell the people, I have bought books, vote for me. How about the structures? How about the classrooms? How about the tables and desks? How about all those? How about the bridges, rather than just patch the roads that we have in existence? Why have we not been able to put up something special, something extraordinary? A very big ask, if you like. And he submits that we need dynamic leadership to rescue the nation and continent. And he says that most leaders in Africa are despots. Look at Africa. Look at the election results in Uganda, particularly just a few weeks ago. Look at the election in Uganda and how the opposition was not allowed to, really sprout. You shut down the internet because you think that it will not allow some people to flourish. Why is it that we continue to think like that in this part of the world? Saudi Arabia, for instance, is making a plan to get out of fossil fuel. In Africa, in Nigeria, we are still looking for petroleum. When even the whole world is going green, and countries are banning fossil fuel cars, they are making sure that electric-powered vehicles are produced. Why is it difficult for us to make something for the next generation? Okay, so let's quickly check out some of the stories that I imagine at the moment, and let's see how they turn out. Okay, how these things turn out. Maybe ask your intervention in a few moments. So it won't be business as usual, says Okonjo-Iweala as she resumes at the World Trade Organization, DG. The World Trade Organization's WTO first female and our first African Director General, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, began work on Monday, ending a 6-month leadership void by vowing to unblock negotiations on rules to stop overfishing, Reuters reported Monday. After a long campaign that was derailed in the latter stages by a Trump administration's veto, the Nigerian was confirmed as boss last month, pledging to forget business as usual at the body which is struggling to strike new deals and whose arbitration functions are paralyzed. I'll leave you to find the rest of that story. Jangebe abduction will be the last, says Buhari. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians that the abduction of female students from Government Girls Science Secondary School, Jangebe, will be the last to happen. The president's statement was released on Sunday through Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, who led a high-powered federal government delegation to sympathize with the people and government of Zamfara State. The news agency of Nigeria reports here. He said new measures have been developed by the federal government and would bring a complete end to all forms of criminality in the nation. He also added that bandits would not be spared anymore. The president is saddened by the abduction of the students from Jangebe and reassures you that the government has all the resources and wherewithal to contain these criminals. Buhari has also commended Governor Bello Matawale of Zamfara's efforts against armed banditry and promised continued support to bring lasting peace. The federal government will continue its partnership with Zamfara government and its citizens in resolving the security challenges facing the state, Buhari said. The headline of that story, Jangebe abduction will be the last, says Buhari. I'd like you to have your say on this matter. Okay, so I'll just, open the phone lines sometime soon. And the program is still Talking Points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. Okay, so some of the other stories emanating across the weekend. 4 persons feared killed. Chief Imam, 25 others abducted in fresh attacks on Kagara communities. Okay, that's... Armed bandits may have begun illegal activities in Kagara Rafi local government area of Niger State at the weekend. The same day that 38 students, teachers, and other persons that they had earlier abducted en masse from a government science secondary school in the town regained freedom. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that. Vaccines. COVID-19 vaccines arrived Nigeria Tuesday. Okay, this Tuesday, that is. Okay, barring any unforeseen circumstances, Nigeria is to take delivery of its first batch of COVID-19 vaccines on Tuesday. Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 pandemic, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, disclosed this in Abuja Saturday night, saying that the country's free allocation of 4 million doses of the COVAX vaccine will arrive in the morning of Tuesday from India. He said while speaking to journalists, well, I can assure you that the vaccines are coming and they are coming very quickly, barring any change in the delivery plan that has been released to us by UNICEF. Like I said, barring any change because the logistical arrangements and other things are in hands of the UNICEF. We believe that vaccines should depart India on the 1st of March, 2021, 10:30 p.m. in the night and arrive Abuja on the 2nd of March, 2021 at about 11 a.m. in the morning. About 4 million doses of vaccines are coming from the corporate facility on this one tree. We're supposed to have about 16 million in the first quarter from the COVAX facility. By the time they supply all the range, we expect that they will supply about 84 million doses from the COVID facility, which is free of charge and is supposed to cover about 20% of Nigerian population. Wow. Okay, so the story here, headline is COVID-19 vaccines arrive Nigeria Tuesday, says Mustafa. Okay, so NUT threatens to shut down schools over abductions of students. Okay, so the Nigerian Union of Teachers has threatened to shut down schools nationwide over the recurring abduction of students and teachers by bandits. I'll just stop at that. So you know the implication of that. We need to have an understanding of these issues that if you have a recurrence of abductions in schools, that means that there are lessons that we never have learnt. So, after the Chibok experience, we've had many more abductions. In fact, over 1,000 students have been abducted already in this country. And so one big question is, what did we learn from the last experience? Nothing. That's basically what it means. When are we going to use the lessons, if any, to prevent the next abduction? So immediately after the Chibok experience, I remember that the immediate past administration in Nigeria, launched this thing that was called the Safe School Initiative. And this Safe School Initiative, was launched. And I remember I was writing somewhere else. I said that I have seen the document, very beautiful provisions, particularly for me, is this area of getting the locals involved in this campaign to keep our schools safe and for our children to go to school without any hindrance. But you see, and essentially that has been my own big question. How possible would it be for bandits to arrive somewhere and take 300 children, and then they would, you see, it sounds like they just surfaced from somewhere. They just maybe came down from the sky, took 300 and went back into the sky. That's what it looked like to me. Because I have been asking the question, where are the patrol centers, where are the checkpoints, where are the locals to give the information, where are the intelligence agencies to supply the intelligence or to make sure that we mitigate some of these things? Are these not critical questions to ask as Nigerians, or should I say it this way? Is that too much to ask? Okay, isn't that a question that we need to ask as well? Okay, so I'll get us all talking on this matter in a moment. It's still Talking Points on Splash FM. You'd like to talk to me? 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678, and 0706 949 3000. Those are the numbers to call. In case you'd like to be a part of this, I'll very much be happy to receive your calls and comments. And you know the way I always say, I always start the matter, it is to say that this is not for personal, vendetta. Let's talk about the issues. The whole idea is to find a solution to our common problems. If you indeed agree that it is a problem common to all people in this country, insecurity is a national problem today. So why don't we take a national look at these matters? Okay, so talk to me, okay? 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678, 0706 949 3000. Those are the numbers to call on the program today. Okay. So I'll just see if we could get a few others. Have a caller here. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Talking Points today. What's the name, please?
Sunday from Owodo.
I didn't get the name, please.
Sunday.
Okay, Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. Let's talk Sunday.
Yeah. This issue of abduction is what I want to talk about. It's like over there in the north, they know what they are doing.
Okay.
Because if the north is under security threat every now and then, how come when you're talking of carrying about 300 to 400 people? Imagine from here if you are travel to the east, from Challenge, let me say from Challenge to Lobby, you get about 2 army checkpoints over there in the east.
Okay.
Where there is no threat of security issues like kidnapping here and there. Then why in the north that the killing, the Boko Haram, the herdsmen, all the other issues killing here and there? How come would terrorists come about carrying 300 students, and you cannot use one bus to carry 300 students? That means they came with about 3 or 4, more than 4 vehicles. If it is a luxurious buses, that you are talking about maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, Sunday. Now, so my own concern now is intelligence gathering. The cooperation of the locals, or maybe I should say the failure of intelligence. Should we be looking in that area, in terms of making sure that these things don't happen again?
That means what I'm saying is that they should invite the security personnel over there.
Okay.
Because if we have the army, we have the police and other security apparatus over there, how come this incident of kidnapping is becoming rampant? The issue of Niger State, at least having kidnapping in the same area within 2 or 3 weeks. How come? At least, if now, for instance now, if there's a riot at Bere now, what will you find out? In the next an hour time, you will find police armored tanks.
Yes,
they will pass it there.
Exactly.
It will be there for over 2-3 months. Even 3 months, the motor will still be there for anything.
Yes.
How come these places that is under security threat, you don't have anything like that there? I have not been traveling there, but how come this issue is occurring frequently? This is just March.
Okay.
Between January and February, we are having kidnapping of more than 4 or 5 times. How come? So they know what they are doing. So they at least the security personnel to be questioned. That's my tip.
All right. Question the security. Okay. Thank you very much for talking to us, Sunday there. All right. It's still talking points on Splash FM in the Punch. Delays to sign anti-open grazing bill into law. That's hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're welcome to Talking Points on Splash FM. May we meet you, sir? Ouch. Please call back, okay, if you can. We're still very much open for conversations. Okay. This story is from Bayelsa. Delay to sign anti-open grazing bill into law. Okay. The story here says, barring any unforeseen circumstances, an executive bill seeking to ban grazing of cows and regulate the business of livestock breeding and marketing in Bayelsa State would be passed into law on Wednesday. A chairman of the State House of Assembly Joint Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources, Trade, Industry and Investment, as well as Environment and Security, Mr. Tonye Isena. I'll just go said this during a public hearing on the bill organized by the committee on the national at the Assembly Complex in Yenagoa. Good afternoon, welcome. Let's talk. What's the name, please?
The name is SD. Abotunrin from Bakeke.
Yes, sir.
When you started, you asked so many questions. I remember I've told you in the past, when you asked if Nigeria is moving, I told you we are moving. But the direction is different from that of the rest of the world. And that is what you are seeing now. You are asking when we make it, when shall we do like Dubai, when shall we do this, do that. When we decide to make a U-turn and move in the same direction, the rest of the world is moving. For now, we are moving in the opposite direction, and the result is what you are seeing right now. So we need, our problem is that of the mindset.
Okay.
All right. You will not believe that the people around where that kidnapping is rampant, the people have similar mindset with the kidnappers. Don't be surprised that they are thinking of what they can get from that ransom, not how to estimate what.
I understand.
Hello?
I understand what you're saying. I understand what I'm saying. But would I subscribe to, my own child being abducted because there's something I want to share from it?
It's because it doesn't involve their own children. How many of them are sending their own children to school?
Oh, wow. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Aboduni. Thank you very much for that. Wow.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see this caller. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, Cousin.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Welcome to Talking Points. All right, so when you're ready to call us, please call back, okay? Commercial break on the program Talking Points. Please don't go away.
Splash FM 105.5.
Mọ ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àyíká rẹ nípasẹ̀ ìròyìn BBC ní Yorùbá. Nítorí kí o tó lè tayọ, o ní láti mọ̀ ọ́n. Ní ìmísí pẹ̀lú àwọn oríṣiríṣi ìròyìn láti ibi àti káàkiri àgbáyé. Nígbà tí o bá ní ìmọ̀ nípa ohun tó ń lọ ní àgbáyé, o lè ṣe ohunkóhun. Mọ ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àyíká rẹ. Wá BBC News Yorùbá kàn.
Ibadan! 9 Mobile 4G LTE has landed and we are in for the time of our lives. Streaming matches will never be the same. Video calls will be clearer than ever. Work will be so smooth, it won't feel like work. That's smooth.
Yes, Ibadan. Enjoy browsing with quality 4G LTE on 9 mobile data plans. Get 2 GB plus free access to social media for 500 naira. 7 GB plus free access to social media for 1,500 naira. And 3.5 GB free data for night streaming on select monthly data plans of 1,000 naira and above. Dial *200*3*1# to get started. T's and C's apply. 9 Mobile.
My people, better don't land. If na come see Ogbonge cable wey dem manufacture for we obodo Nigeria. Na Pure Cables. Pure Cables na correct electrical cable wey dey reliable, dependable, and the people wey dem make am call dey safety conscious. Pure Cables get original copper and aluminium cable for different sizes there wey you fit use for electrical wiring level for anywhere. Whether na your house, abi na your office, no price nko e no dey tear pocket at all. Nationwide distribution don start. For more information, call 0808 030 3257. 0808 030 3257. Pure Cable and Wire Limited. They have print compound, 40 gate, 122/132. Oshodi Papa Expressway, Iyano Solo Bus Stop, Lagos. Pure Cables, Nigerian electrical contractors endorse am. SON approval. Pure Cables. Now you be go.
Sweetheart, you know I have just been paid for the last project I handled, and I really want to invest the money this time.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea, my love. Then Fresh Farms is your best option.
Fresh Farms?
In fact, you have access to your dashboard and you can monitor your investment on pepper, cassava, tomato, yam, and many other agricultural products.
Fresh Farm is here. Our main goal is to provide you fresh food. This time around, farming is on another level. Cassava farming, olele, cashew farming, tonight you are pepper farming, ensuring food surplus for we nation, Niger. Fresh Farms, provide fresh food.
Invest in any of our farm produce today and get amazing return on your investment. For inquiry, please call 0907-361-2624 or visit our website today at www.freshfarms.ng. Fresh Farms, spreading freshness.
Hello everyone. Have you been on the lookout for a job or looking for that income? Well, search no further. As BetKing, the playground for kings, is here to support your dreams. Become a BetKing agent in your area and start earning weekly commissions up to 30% of your sales and monthly bonuses. Interested individuals can call Super Agents Adebowale on 081-563-60744 or WhatsApp on 081-091-41096.
Ìròyìn ayọ̀ ti wọlé dé o fún gbogbo ènìyàn. Ǹjẹ́ ìwọ ń wá iṣẹ́ tàbí ohun tó lè máa mú owó wọlé wá fún ọ? Máa ń jìnnà. Àǹfààní aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ ti ti ọ̀dọ̀ BetKing wá fún ọ láti mú àlá rẹ wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Di aṣojú BetKing lágbègbè rẹ lónìí. Kó o sì bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní jẹ èrè ìdá 15% lórí nǹkan tó bá tà lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ àti àjẹmọ́nú lóṣooṣù. Ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá ní ìfẹ́ sí àǹfààní yìí lè pe aṣojú BetKing Adébọ̀wálé sórí 0815-636-0744 tàbí lórí WhatsApp pẹ̀lú 0810-914-1096. BetKing, pápá ìṣeré fún àwọn ọba.
Bajaj Boxer celebrates 4 million plus happy customers in Nigeria. Buy a Boxer and get 4,000 naira airtime free. Offer valid while stocks last. For inquiries, call 0800-011-1111. Terms and conditions apply.
Àdùkẹ́dùkẹ́ káàárọ̀ rẹ ni ṣé dáadáa ni ojú ẹ̀ máa kọ̀ rẹ lọ́wọ́ ṣé kò sí.
Wo gbogbo ẹ̀ kàn dàbí nǹkan oje. Mo ń ronú bí mo ṣe máa lọ sọ́jà láti lọ ra nǹkan tí mo nílò ní ilé nìjàre. Ó sì ń dààmú ọkàn mi lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀.
Ṣó o ti gbọ̀n pa Food Locker ni? Ibì kan ṣoṣo tí o ti lè ra gbogbo tẹ́nu jẹ lóríṣiríṣi lọ́wọ́ tí ò ga jara lọ. Ṣé o tún fẹ́ gbọ́? Food Locker máa gbé gbogbo ẹ̀ wá báyìí níbikíbi tó bá wà. Ìwọ ṣáà ti lọ sórí www.foodlocker.com.ng tọ́ka sí ohun gbogbo tó bá fẹ́ láì fàkókò ṣòfò wọ́n á sì gbé wá báyìí. O lè rí àwọn oúnjẹ bíi iṣu, gàrí, ẹran, èdè, ẹ̀fọ́, adìyẹ, èso, kódà wọ́n tún ta ògì pẹ̀lú àti àwọn ohun èlò oúnjẹ ilẹ̀ òkèèrè. Kàn sí wọn lórí www.foodlocker.com.ng kó ra gbogbo nǹkan nírọ̀rùn. O lè kàn sí ilé ìtajà wọn ní Food Locker Building, Dùgbẹ́lẹ́yẹlé Road, Magazine Road, Jericho, Nìbàdàn. Kódà o lè lọ sórí Google Play Store láti gba app wọ sórí ẹ̀rọ alágbèéká.
Ìròyìn ayọ̀ gbà lè yí o. Ó ṣí ọ̀rẹ́ mi, ó kú àgbálẹ̀ mi. www.foodlocker.com.ng ní ìdáhùn sí ìbéèrè mi.
Fún àlàyé síwájú sí, ẹ pè Food Locker sórí 0903-178-7037. Food Locker, ra gbogbo oúnjẹ lójú kan, ìrọ̀rùn ló bá dé.
Splash FM 105.5.
All right, it's good to have you again on our talking points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. I told you that, over the weekend I discussed the book, Power, Politics and People's Welfare, the magnetron technology, and the author is Mr. Alamu Mudayeni. I'll just bring a part of that book to you in a moment. I gave you a summary, so to speak, of what's in the book. I'll bring it again after this caller. Can you please call back? Okay, 0809-155-1055, 0805-699-8678, and 0706-949-3000. Just a few minutes of my conversation with him. The author. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Talking Points today.
Yes, my name is Damilola. I'm calling from Uliole.
Damilola from Uliole. Let's talk, sir.
Yes, I just want to comment on the statement by the president about the kidnappings. This will be the last one. It's not going to repeat itself. And I just want to say it's a statement of faith, not of action.
Okay.
It is not of action. And I want to say that the kidnapping, the abduction, it's a big money venture. Even the locals are involved. Because they take the children, even the children of the locals, they know that they are not going to do anything to them. They surely get money from the government, and they share the loot at the end of it. The children from that were kidnapped in Kagara, they got money from the government before they released them. And so the ones that were kidnapped presently in Zamfara, they are going to get money from the government. You know that the police went there and released those children. They are getting the money. So it's a big problem.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Damilola, for calling. Okay. All right, so I was talking about the book, Power, Politics, People's Welfare, the magnetron technology. Alamu Mudayeni is the author. I just give you a bit of my crystallization of the kernel of the book. From the beginning of that book, the author is basically interested in a world where innovative thinking and responsible leadership holds the torchlight which shows the way to sustainable development for all people, especially the people of Africa. In the book, the author here relates the story of American conquest of space by getting the first man to land on the moon. And he also quips about which is important, conquering space or making the earth more habitable. But he used that as an analogy, and he acknowledges that while the American government still invests heavily in space exploration, emphasis has shifted to the general well-being of citizens. Thus, building on this, he writes, now listen to what he says in that book. This American example of focused, responsive governance, typical of other governments in Europe and the Far East, is an eye-opener to political leaders in charge of state affairs, especially in Black Africa, where nothing seems to work for lack of foresight, inspiration, social responsibility, and personal integrity of leaders. In such bedeviled countries of the Black continent, in particular, leadership must change from the insipid set of psychotic treasury looters to an enlightened and service-oriented crop of administrators. So in the book, he believes that when this is achieved, that is when leadership changes from treasury looting to enlightened service-oriented administrators, you set the continent free from the hold of underdevelopment and also be part of the sane world where some governance questions are taken for granted. So it is not just about making roads and paying salaries. It's about making the people know that they are indeed citizens. Now, I'd like you to listen to a part of my conversation, just this part of my conversation with Mr. Alamu Muda Ayeni on the program today, Talking Points on Splash FM 105.5. Alamu Muda Ayeni, the author of the book, Power, Politics, and People's Welfare. Listen now. I see that in the first part of the book, you preoccupied your time, talking about making life meaningful for the people. Yeah. And you put that responsibility at the door of governance and leadership. Yeah. You think that the leadership in Africa has failed the African people to the extent that most, if not all, of our discoveries and inventions were done by people from the West who traveled from their own domains to come here and discover things in our backyard.
Exactly.
I've also been wondering why the typical black man is like this.
That's a very funny question. Funny in the sense that we have as many perceptions of our minds as there are human beings. But basically, the typical African sense of perception is self-centeredness. We rarely think of service to humanity in general. That's our basic problem. And, in our contemporary living style, what we are concerned with is how to gain the most. In terms of investment, for example, the typical African man does not want to invest on anything which does not bring immediate benefits. That is essentially different from the spirit of those from the West. They take a lot of trouble to explore, unknown seas and see what they can get out of it. If we go back to ordinary history, you know that the exploration from their own native land into African shores was carried out by initially seafarers who had the courage to weather the storm and see what they could get out of it. And that is a spirit of adventure. Here we need the same kind of spirit before we can achieve much.
The spirit of adventure is also reflected in your work. In this book, you were talking about the fact that we're not paying attention to invention, initiative.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we seem to have, left the whole sphere of invention to people who are basically science people.
Yes.
And you contend in this work that an inventor does not necessarily have to be a science person, but somebody who is just curious and the flair.
Exactly.
That's basically your thought in this work.
Yes.
I like that thought. I want to push forward here. You were talking here about the fact that we don't have a sense of leadership in the direction of innovation. You said this lack of knowledgeable leadership has been responsible for the mass of confusion concerning who exactly is a scientist.
Yes.
And the consequent inability to distinguish between paper qualification and the innate quality has always led to the enthronement of mediocrity in the place of merit. And basically that is what you have from top to bottom in Africa.
That's true.
Are we going to get out of this?
Well, we only pray, but we have to start somewhere. Otherwise, there will be no end to the suffering.
For you, the unbridled astronomical population growth in Nigeria, coupled with large-scale unemployment and the atmosphere of live and let die, are combining to create a low tempo of economic development, crime, and inevitable space-age primitivity. So you believe that our population, if uncontrolled, is going to put us into trouble.
Sure.
Of course, the reflections are already here: the banditry, the crime, the kidnapping, the terrorism, and the rest of it.
Yes.
But it looks like the people in government are still living in denial.
As far back as 1979-80, I published the book "How a Mother Sleep." That book x-rayed the problems of Nigeria and the causes, and offered or preferred solutions. But you see, as I told you, we don't have the kind of dynamic leadership. Most African states are governed by people I would call despots. Despots in the sense that most of them are concerned with only their own interest, without any hope or any thought of assisting the ordinary people. They don't care. And as long as we have people like that in the leadership, we'll continue to have the problems.
A lot of people say that we get the leadership that we deserve.
Well, that's one apt description of the situation.
So how did we get to that juncture?
You see, to give an illustration of that particular expression, if people people deserve the government that they have, we are supposed to be running a democracy, for example. In a democracy, at least on paper, in theory, you choose people whom you believe that will govern you well, and you do so voluntarily. If, in the process of doing that, you come out with a leader who turns out to be either a thief or an uncaring leader, then you cannot blame God or anybody for that kind of leadership.
So how do we cure ourselves of this malady?
Well, through education, through enlightenment, by telling our people what to do in order to reap what you expect. If, like the typical Nigerian electoral system, people queue up and they are giving money, they say vote for party 1, vote for party 2. If they vote on the basis of the little peanuts they are given, they will eventually become slaves under that kind of leadership, because they will be used and then later dumped to their own peril. So that's the problem. But if we're able to enlighten or educate our people that, first of all, you have to consider your own tomorrow before you vote for anybody. What you vote with, the people you vote for now, will have an impact on the generation of young children, and that's the problem. So unless through such public enlightenment, and then, as I hinted there, reversal of our educational program, we continue to have that problem. There is a portion in that book where I referred to the British people, and I made a quotation out of one of their publications, Thinking Britain. In that pamphlet, they gave reasons why in the white environment there is room for innovation and invention.
We can make that happen here too.
But we have to be pushed, maybe by the wise.
That's a very damning verdict as well.
Yes, even though we claim that we have obtained independence from Britain, we still need them to push us before we do the right thing.
The book, Power, Politics and People's Welfare. What is your key message from this book for all of us?
The key message is that we have to brace up. We have been dormant long enough, and because of that dormancy, we are not achieving anything. You see, when we talk about progress, my Oga, not only used to say that progress is in two directions, up and down, then in the horizontal. So before we can make appreciable progress, we have to brace up. We have to be ready to explore the unknown. We have to be ready to sacrifice. Until we do that, we remain standstill on the same spot.
Mr. Alamu Mudayeni, thank you for sharing your thoughts, sir.
I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
All right, he's still talking points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. Mr. Alamu Mudayeni, in that book, Power, Politics and People's Welfare. It says that we have to, shake ourselves out of dormancy to be able to get out of the hole. It says that we're independent, but we're not. We still need these people to help us discover things in our backyards. Let me just give you a brief of my notes on that book and open the phone lines again. The recurring theme of the book has to do with application of thought to the solution of problems. The author is apparently preoccupied with the glaring failure of leadership on the African continent to make a mixture of knowledge, science, innovation, and selfless service to work, so that we can emancipate the continent. Okay, he sees the failure of the intelligentsia and education to make this happen, specifically blaming the fact that education merely breeds incompetent humans whose ultimate achievement is the acquisition of certificates, which only graduates the holder to the class of the clueless. A damning verdict announced by the author is that even those with some education have no innovative sense, to the extent that they cannot discover anything, including those things, in their backyards, without the help and prompting of the West. Is that not an enough damning verdict? And if that is it, why are we not hasty to shake off this toga? Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Hello? Okay, I can't hear you. I'd like you to call back. Okay, 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678, and 0706 949 3000. Those are the numbers to call if you'd like to be a part of this conversation. Okay, I have another caller here. Hello.
Hello, Mike. Once more.
Mr. Bodun, right?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back.
Have you ever pondered about why it's so difficult for Nigerian government to deploy technology to handle this case?
Okay.
Now, the issue is that, like any other issue, somebody is likely to compromise it along the line.
Oh, wow.
How come somebody was he was abducted, I think, in this northeast, and Americans came from several thousands of kilometers to rescue him without paying any ransom? So anyway,
thank you very much.
We are praying.
All right. Thank you very much for calling, Mr. S.B. Abodun, calling back. Okay, so the vaccine will arrive tomorrow. That's what the government has said. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Olatunbosun.
You're welcome to Talking Points on Splash FM. May we meet you, sir?
Yeah, this is Adili. I'm speaking from Iwo Road.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I look at our station in Nigeria, and I liken it to the adage of our elder that says, if you make 100 ifs and you say you have made 200, you will eat 100 of truth and you eat 100 of lies.
Okay.
You see, in Nigeria, our government, the president said, that would be the last they would do. But while he was saying it at his backyard, they did another one. Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. You see, if you say you are doing another person, you yourself, you are also undoing yourself too. Your Bible says if you point a finger to a person, you are pointing the fault to yourself.
Okay.
The response to yourself.
Okay.
The seeds cannot last long.
All right.
And we know there is no compatibility in Nigeria.
All right.
We are just deceiving ourselves.
Okay.
And that's why things are not moving.
All right. Okay.
The pulling down syndrome is in Nigeria. It's, from one side to the other. We are suspicious of each other. There is no truth. And if you build a foundation on dishonesty and deceit, it will not go a long way before it will collapse.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ayodele.
Let us just restructure Nigeria. That's the solution. Thank you.
Okay, so the pulling down philosophy is also reflected in the book that I just mentioned. The author says that The stumbling block to development and progress in Nigeria is the campaign of calumny with which contemporaries or colleagues of the innovators crowd them out. And or what the author describes as, I quote now, quote and unquote, Nigeria's characteristic official torpidity. That's harsh, isn't it? Okay, as a story in the Vanguard, I'd like to come to that story after this caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Is that Talking Point?
Yeah, this is Talking Points on Splash FM.
Okay, my name is Oba Fadike Sunday, sir.
Ade said right?
Oba Fadike Sunday.
Okay, all right.
Merely looking at the situation we are facing in Nigeria. So I saw almost everything that it seems as if civilian regime, they don't those involved, our policy maker, the governor, the president, it seems as if they don't understand what it means by welfareism.
Okay.
So maybe they should go to that school, or they should go to that school so that they can learn more about what it means to provide to provide things that will benefit the masses. At least look at the pipe on water, the electricity. During military regime, it seems as if they understand what it means to provide good things, things that will benefit people.
Mr.
They understand that one better.
Sunday, I understand where you are coming from. But when during those days that you were mentioning, when you had this water, pipe on water, and were you paying for it?
Yes, we were probably paying token then.
Okay, so compare that to Ghana. Do they get pipe on water for token in Ghana?
I don't know.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling. I understand your perspective that in the 80s, in the 80s we had pipe-borne water flowing.
And again, sir, instead of providing deeds, what would benefit the masses? They try to threaten the masses. The other way around, the criminals, they give them indirect support. That is what it just means. Right. Look at this hike in fuel price now, just to threaten the masses. And the bandits are there. They just doing things the way they like.
I understand.
So they are free. The masses, the innocent, they are the ones that this civilian regime usually threaten.
All right.
So that is just what the information of
Thank you very much for calling. Okay, I get the sense there. Okay, there's a story here I thought I should read before I say my bye-byes for today. Zamfara government negotiating with bandits for abducted schoolgirls' safe return, says a source. Authorities in Zamfara are holding negotiations for the release of 317 schoolgirls kidnapped by criminal gangs last week. Sources familiar with talks said Monday. Government on Friday invaded the government girls' secondary school in remote Jangebe village, whisking away the girls from their hostels. It is the third school attack in less than 3 months, a series that has revived traumatic memories of the Chibok girls kidnapped by jihadists nearly 7 years ago. Okay. Okay, so sources just have a sense that, okay, I have a caller. Let's attend to this.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Is that Talking Point?
Yeah, this is Talking Points on Splash FM. May we meet you, sir?
Yes, my name is Val Kissinger.
Did I make
I'm calling from Val. I'm calling from Ibadan here.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I want to contribute. When we are talking about governance in this country, people should not mention military at all. There's a lot of difference between civilian and military.
Oh, yes.
Military came to destroy. They do not put anything down for the civilians to inherit. Okay? I could remember during one of those oil windfall, when IBB was the president, a journalist asked him, Mr. President, the oil windfall has come and gone. They did not see any time, any gain of windfall. This not of Rangida told them. He said they called this windfall. It came by the wind and left by the wind. That is military for you. They should not mention. They should not mention them at all.
All right.
There's nobody mention military. I beg you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right,
if we pay for anything, we pay. We are paying for future. Military has no future for us.
All right, thank you very much for
Thank you.
That is in no way any endorsement for a military government. Of course, we know that. Okay, I'd like to say my bye-byes for today. Just like to say thanks to you for, joining the conversation today. Tuesday, that's tomorrow, is another time on the program. It beckons. And I'd like to ask you, okay, it's tempting. I need to attend to this caller. Please, hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Brother Michael. How are you doing today? Nice to hear your voice. I know you're about to go.
Yes, I'm about to go.
This is Isaac.
You're from North Carolina, right?
Yes.
All right.
I think our problem in Africa is that God has blessed us, and we are so complacent that we don't want to use our brains. Africans are innovative.
Wow.
I was just going to write you, if God can send snow or maybe hurricane, then we can wake up from our slumber. Africans are innovative. But because, you can change people by giving them some problem if they don't want to wake up. So I think that is what is going on. We are too complacent.
Okay.
And as a result of that, we are not being, we don't care about anything.
All right.
One day. So thank you very much for bringing up this topic.
All right. Thank you
have
very
a
much.
wonderful day and God bless.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining the conversation. Okay, so I'd like to say thanks to you all for joining in on the program today. M-Spice in the building already. The news update at 4 o'clock, and after that, game on. Okay. Please win something for yourself today. Okay, I'd like to see a lot of people win something. It will be great. Beyond just winning for yourself, it's about knowledge and education. Learn something as well. So win and learn, or learn and win. Whichever one you like to place first, it's okay by me. And don't forget that it's important to do everything within your power to make this nation better. Please don't dump refuse in the waterways. My name is Michael Olatunbosun. Enjoy the rest of the day.